Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I started this YouTube channel and then just kind of stopped making videos. Life happens, really, life, mental health, a lot of things. But you know what always makes that better? Talking about it and plants. So I have quite a few plants here. 7, potentially 8 that I need to, oops, you're on a wobbly desk. Anyways, 8 that I potentially need to repot today. Just as kind of some therapy, and I figured I'd take you guys along with me. Can't see is I have a little cardboard box just on top of my desk to keep it safe and not dirty and gross, because I don't want to clean up any more mess than I have to be quite honest. First plant we're doing today is a Cebu Blue. So this is, as you can see, a very small plant in a way too big pot. So I got this as a clipping from a friend of mine, and I overpotted it way too big. I think I don't know what I've been doing. So we're going to take it out of this pot, see what the roots look like, and then we're going to pot it in a smaller pot. And I have these plastic pots. You can get them off Amazon. They're really, real cheap. Something a little more closer to her size, just so that those roots have some time to, I don't know, grow in there, I guess. So let's take her out and see what she looks like. Okay, so I switched positions so you guys could kind of see, and I unpotted her. So let's move that over there out of the way. So we have to be really gentle because the whole plant is supported by that one little root right there. And that one little root has this whole root mass on it. I think we're gonna do this one. Let's see. Let's see what you look like when you sit in there. Yeah, I like that. Oh, you guys can't even see. So that's what we're looking like. Me just kind of holding her in there. I do let some of them rest on the bottom. But what we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and lay a little bit of dirt on the bottom. This is 2 of them. This is 2 of them. I will say if you get these from Amazon, they're real cheap and flimsy. I love them. They're perfect for they're perfect if you're into a lot of plants. If you're not into a lot of plants, it's perfectly fine to plant them up into like the decorative pots that you can get. Here's an example of one, like a ceramic pot. You can do that. The only issue is if you plan to up pot them, or get them to grow bigger, the roots will kind of attach to the side of those and it's harder to get out. So that's a hassle, but to each their own. I have plants in ceramic pots and I have most of them transitioned over to this, but I still have plants in ceramic pots and they're going to stay there because that's what I like. I think they look good in there. Okay, so I put some soil on the bottom, just kind of setting her roots in there, positioning this with my hand kind of at the top where I want it to sit. And then you could use a shovel or a scoop or something. I have that little ceramic dish I just showed you. I normally use that to put dirt in to my pots, but my hand will work just fine for now. And I do want to make sure those leaves are supported kind of by the edge of the pot, because you saw the whole plant's only supported by that one root, connecting that whole root system. So if that snaps off because this is too top heavy, we're which not really. So Cebu blue pothos aren't rare by any means. I would just prefer to grow my own than pay what they're priced. So she's all potted up. Okay, so Cebu blue done. Okay guys, so the next plant that I'm going to repot is this Tradescantia albiflora. It came from Walmart. It's in like this little, I'm not good with measurements, 6-inch pot. I am going to split the plant up. I love it. I love the variegation on the leaves, the little pinstriping that it comes with. Like, look at this one, specifically this plant right here. Look at that. You can't tell me that's not beautiful. Anyways, so we're going to do that. I'm just gonna speed through this portion because she's a pretty delicate plant, so I want to pay as much attention to her as I can. And you guys can just hang out and watch, okay? Guy will go in water. So the plastic, these plastic pots that I have, my biggest size is still a little too wonky for her shape. So I have a pot downstairs, a ceramic pot, oddly enough, that I'm gonna pot her directly straight into because she has really good roots formed. You saw that kind of root ring forming at the bottom down there, and they're all around the outside. They look really good. So I don't necessarily want to disturb this plant any more than I already have to take out this little portion that I did. So that round pot that I have, I'll just be able to put some dirt up around the edges and then just kind of set this down in there as to not to disturb the roots, but allow them to have a little more room to grow out. So that's the plan for that one. So she's going to set to the side for now. This is a piece of my Monstera Peru, and I was out of town recently, and this plant got a little too dry, which was completely my fault because I didn't tell my husband to water it. I thought it was going to be okay because it's gone longer than 10 days before. But anyways, came home, I was moving the plant, and this whole thing just bloop, right out of the soil. So we'll just make a new plant with it by itself. Very pretty plant. I love the leaves on this one. Look at how pretty that is. Yeah. So, okay, so we're gonna put him in probably one this size, which he'll still be super top heavy, so I'll just have to be really careful when moving him around. Also, don't ask me how I determine if they're boys or girls. It just comes out, and I just say it. So sometimes they're ladies, sometimes they're boys. And my soil mix, I'll put over here on the screen, a mixture of soil, perlite, and some kind of chunky medium. So orchid bark. Right now I just have chunky bark, but whatever works. This just allows our soil to allows our soil to have better drainage. A lot of people think that when their plants get like water damage and stuff like that, it's from overwatering, and it's normally not the frequency of how often you're watering. It's the kind of soil and how much water it's retaining and how much it's actually draining. Monstera Peru is potted up and she's in there. This is a vining plant. You can also put it on a moss pole to grow up. Maybe when it gets a little bit bigger with its root system and a little more established, I'll give it a moss pole. My other one doesn't have a moss pole. She's actually back there on that shelf, and she's doing pretty good. She just kind of trails. So that's probably what we'll let this kiddo do. I'll go ahead and set him to the side. Actually, a little cutting right here, and this is a cutting that I got from a friend, and it is a Monstera Adsonii. Pop that right in there. It has the little fenestrations on the leaves, so the little holes. I have a new leaf coming in right there. This leaf that came in right before it didn't really open that well, but that's okay. Anyways, we got a lot of really good established roots, so we're gonna go ahead and pot her up into some dirt and see how she'll do from there. I do have this plant already in a bigger version, so this plant will most likely be for sale sometime soon, so watch out for that, and maybe you'll score a Monstera Adsonii. Sometimes you get super big chunks in there. You don't want that. Maybe you do. Who knows? I don't. Just because it takes up such a big spot, and I feel like I don't want it to like be pressing on the plant while it's in there and potentially break it or anything like that. So get all this in here. The next plant that we're going to replant is a little African violet, and Grandma, look away if you're watching this. Do I use our family's crystal toothpick holder as a water prop jar because it's super cute and sparkly? I do. Am I sorry? Yes. But anyways, so I've been water propping these African violets. Look at that big leaf. And you can see all the little babies. So when I took it, it was literally just a leaf that I popped off the plant. Popped it in water. It's been in there for a couple of months, so the water propagation for African violets is very slow. But yeah, that's what you end up with. Some little baby plants. We're going to pot her directly into some soil and see how she does. Okay. leaf just kind of laying on the dirt. But I put the little ones in there. I don't know if you're able to see. Kind of tucked in there with just some dirt pushed around it. Hopefully they'll go ahead and root down and pop out some new babies. I do have a second one from the same plant in that jar, which has pretty good roots going, as you can see. But it doesn't have any of the babies popping up yet, and I do like to I feel like I normally have better odds if I wait until I see little babies before I put it in the dirt. If I do it before then it's kind of a 50-50 if they're gonna live. I am gonna take a piece of this Tradescantia albiflora and just pop it in here with this African violet leaf and see if we can get her to take root. And I'll just go back up on the shelf when we're done. Now I did also have in this prop jar, this is a philodendron red emerald cutting. My mom has the big, well, my mom owns the big plant of this, the mother plant. I have it here because I've been rehabbing it, and it, during the rehab process, popped off this little baby shoot, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I can just go ahead and prop that. So she's doing pretty good. You can see, so this part over here is actually all the new growth since being water propagated. This all over here was what I cut off of the main plant. So she's doing pretty good. It's a very pretty plant. It puts out the red stalks with the bright green leaves. So we'll put her back in water. I think I'm gonna let her root a little bit longer just because this plant is kind of sentimental. And I don't want to have to cut it up any more than I already have to get cuttings. So we'll leave that there. Okay guys, so the next one that we're gonna repot is actually probably one of my favorites in my collection. Not a big plant by any means, not a expensive plant by any means, just I like the way it looks. So, and sometimes that's all that matters. So this is my philodendron squamifernum. Oh, and see, the girl I got it from, I paid 15 bucks for this plant. But I love it because look at the petioles, which are the branches that connect the stem and the leaf. They look prickly, which they kind of are, but not like painfully. But yeah, look at that. And then the big mature leaves look like this. Pretty as that. The little immature leaves come out like that, or like this one. You know, it doesn't have any of that side flap over there. But I do have a new leaf coming out right now, trying to grow. So this is a vining plant, or a climbing plant. So once it gets a little bit bigger, I'm gonna upplant it right now. And once it outgrows this next pot that I'm putting it in, I'll put it on a moss pole and let it grow from there. Moss poles are just kind of a hassle. If I don't have to use them, I don't want to, and I've realized that recently, but climbing plants love them. So currently I have two plants on them. I have the big red emerald philodendron, so the big mother plant of this one, and then my big monstera addisonii. Those are both on moss poles, but it's a hassle. You have to water them constantly, or then it kind of defeats the purpose, because you have the moss pole, so the plant will want to root to it and grow up. But if the moss pole is not wet, the plant's not going to want to attach to it. So I'm just kind of rotating the plant around, squeezing the cup around the sides, just to kind of loosen if the roots are attached in there, and then pull her out. So I really like this seller that I bought from when I bought this squamifernum, and then some other plants from her. And that's because she ships in very loose media. Like, that's what I want. that's what I want. When you send me a plant, I want the soil and stuff to just kind of fall off. Look how happy these roots are though. I don't know what that was. Anyways. Da, da, da. And so this at some point was a cutting, because you can see where it was cut off from, I'm assuming, a big mother plant. And then all of these roots were grown on its own. So cuttings are, or propagations and cuttings are a really good way to grow your plant collection without having to spend a lot of money. You know, buy you one plant. Theoretically, this plant right here, I paid $15 for it, and I could get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuttings out of it. So 6 plants. I'm not gonna do that. But if you wanted to grow a collection and you don't have much money, you could do that. You're just gonna have to put some time and effort into it. So we got her undone. We're gonna put her up there. We're gonna put some soil in. So I didn't even tell you guys where I've been. So my great grandma went into the hospital and had to be put into an assisted living facility out in California. So myself, my grandma, and my grandpa drove out there to take care of some things for her, like her financials, her house, and just giving her pets, getting everything straightened out for her. So we were out there for about a week. But besides that, just mental health. My mental health has been kind of, neat. It's been better, been worse. But and I just haven't really wanted to record. And I started this channel, wanting to like connect with people and show people my life and like, show people the fun of having plants and stuff like that. But I don't want it to ever feel forced. I don't want it to feel like, I don't know, So I was like, oh, well, even though it would happen that I would have a mental health episode, not really episode, but some mental health things come up right after I started the channel, so you live and you learn. Sorry, my desk is super squeaky. And you remember that cardboard thing I told you about at the beginning that we're putting down so we didn't make a mess? We're making a mess. It is what it is. I did notice, however, the soil that I get from that I got from this distributor does come with stuff in it. Like you saw this a minute ago. What is that? Is that like that's not an acorn. What are those? That's some kind of nut or something. Don't know. Anyways, stuff like that comes in it. All right, friends, I got everyone who we repotted up on the shelf. So we have our Squammy Fernum. We have our little Cebu Blue up here, as well as our Monstera Adsonia back there, and our Monstera Peru back there. But yeah, this is just a little piece of my collection. The rest are downstairs. But these are most of my kiddos who like to stay humid, or like I have water props up here for some different African violets, as well as down here, this is some spider plant babies from my mother-in-law. I just put some fertilizer in with them yesterday. They're just not growing roots the way I'd like them to. More props back there, and then that little African violet leaf we did, as well as the Tridescantia albiflora. But yeah, definitely let me know what you'd like to see going forward in the future. Yeah.